Okay, anime fam, buckle up because today's episode of Boku, No Hero Academia, Season 8, just delivered one of the most raw, emotional, and lore-packed stories we've seen so far. Did you ever wonder about the true origin of quirks, the moral battles that created our heroes and villains, and Izuku's fight when the odds look overwhelmingly bad? Well, Episode 4 dives deep, connecting dots from the primordial days of meta-powers straight to the brutal showdowns, and makes us question what it really means to be a hero or a villain. The episode kicks off with a mysterious, almost dream-like flashback. We see a hazy memory, and the whole world is changing with the arrival of meta-powers, the birth of quirks. It all starts with the tale of the glowing baby. In China, the first public figure with a superhuman ability. Suddenly, reports of these miraculous talents are popping up everywhere. Some people are born with powers, some develop them around puberty. Scientists rush to explain what's happening, declaring meta-powers are a brand new strand of DNA, splitting away from regular humans. But their explanation is cold and hasty. Instantly, the world is split right down the middle, those with powers and those without. This episode doesn't just give us history, it drops us smack in the middle of the chaos. Society starts to unravel. Fear, discrimination, and violence infect everything. At one point, we hear protesters planning attacks on powered people gathering in the industrial zone. The division between normals and metahumans is getting deadly. Then we pivot to a far more intimate, twisted story, that of two brothers, one powerful and domineering, one small and tragically weak. The powerful older brother has the ability to take quirks from others, literally stealing someone's life potential, and he's been doing it since birth. The younger brother, named Yoichi, is frail and powerless, always under his sibling's shadow. The older brother never even considers letting him go, viewing him as property. Their relationship is toxic, almost suffocating. Yoichi's hope and innocence shine in tiny moments. He reads comics, dreaming of heroes and asking his brother to join him in that dream. But for the older brother, these comics with words like "one for all for one," just twist into fuel for his egomania. He wants the world to revolve around him, everyone's power, everyone's love. When Yoichi resists, he's punished. The older brother can't understand why anyone would refuse to submit, especially his own flesh and blood. As their tale unfolds, violence and murder enter the picture. The older brother kills, steals, and begins shaping himself into the first supervillain. He gives Yoichi a meta-power, hoping to bind him even closer, but Yoichi resists again, holding out for kindness instead of domination. Here's where the episode gets fascinating. The meta-power the older brother forced into Yoichi doesn't seem to take at first. Something's wrong. Upon investigation, it's revealed Yoichi had a tiny, malformed quirk factor of his own, barely functioning because of childhood malnutrition. Instead of simply accepting the new power, his body absorbs and merges it with what little he had. And that, right there, is the birth of One for All, the combined quirk that would eventually be passed down the generations, finding its way to Izuku Midoriya. Jump to the present day battlefield, the foundation for the entire world's superhero and villain dynamic now exposed. All for One, the older brother, centuries later, is locked in a vicious fight, desperately trying to hold onto his fading power and transfer it to Tomura Shigaraki, his chosen successor. The stakes are insane. If he succeeds, One for All could be completely corrupted, ending hero society as we know it. Amid all this, Bakugo steps up. The animation here is nuts, with sweat, explosions, and a strategy twist that only Bakugo could pull off. He uses his explosive sweat in a delayed, clever trick to blindside All for One, and it works, setting off a chain reaction that disrupts All for One's powers. But All for One isn't done. He pushes his Omni factor to the absolute limit, trying to win with one final, all-consuming blast, even gambling with his own body, risking age regression to a baby state. Zoo. It's a desperate act, and he's spiraling, his mind fractured by negative emotions. Bakugo, refusing to play the background character, pushes through with his howitzer impact. At last, All for One is knocked back, weakened and unable to keep his grip on reality or his powers. Despite all this, the cruelty of All for One's journey hits home. For all his power, he's desperately lonely, always chasing Yoichi's approval, wanting the world's attention, but his manipulation and domination only bring him isolation. His dream, the total possession of everyone and everything, ends in bitter emptiness. The episode closes on a high-stakes note. All for One, now a newborn and unable to speak, is ignored, fading away. But the fighting's not over. Shigaraki is still in the mix, and with All for One gone, something terrifying happens. The preview teases the biggest threat yet. Shigaraki successfully steals one of One for All's quirks from a former wielder during the final showdown. Now, Izuku has to dig deeper than ever and fight for his life. In summary, this episode isn't just epic, it's foundational. We get the raw birth of hero and villain ideologies, the start of All for One and One for all woven through the threads of power, hurt, hope, and rebellion. Bakugo shows growth and trust in Izuku, stepping aside after his win, and Izuku faces a possibly hopeless clash with Shigaraki, the new inheritor of evil. If you blinked, you missed 100 details. The emotional hubris, socio-political chaos, the breakdown of brotherhood, and the rise of legacy powers. Absolutely nothing will be the same after this. Alright. What did you think of this episode? Were you shocked by All for One's tragic beginnings, or hyped by Bakugo's genius move? Let me know in the comments down below. If you want more deep dives and anime recaps, hit that like button, be sure to subscribe, and share this video with fellow My Hero fans. Plus Ultra.